Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Tony from Celebrated Summer Records in Baltimore, Maryland. We've been a shop here for 18 years. 2025 is going to be our 19th year anniversary, and we have very little social media presence beyond an Instagram page. So I thought it might be fun to do some videos that were like Ask Me Anything style videos. So we put it out there to the people that follow us to ask us any questions that they had thought of, and we're going to do these in a little series of videos like this. So, on to the first question. Stephen Davies asks a few questions. I guess we'll start with what percentage is new versus used in the store. It's probably 70% used to 30% new. We still have a lot of new records in the store. Everything from Taylor Swift and Casey Musgraves to brand new punk and hardcore to new jazz reissues. But still, the used is definitely more than that. So, yeah, I would say 70-30 new to used, or used to new. Then he asks, does most of your new stock come from labels, bands themselves, or distributors? All three. We order direct from labels. We definitely use a ton of distributors, and we try to be the kind of store where, we're friendly enough that bands and people that have done records can just walk in and we'll just take releases directly from them off the street. I feel like that's something you want to be responsible with a record store. You want to support people at the lowest point where they have no record label, no support. They're just making these records in their bedrooms, and we want to carry releases by those folks for sure. I guess this question is kind of super specific to our store, is can we have an area for used 7 inches that isn't tucked away in the corner? No, you cannot, because the store is so tight. There is nowhere to put the used 7 inches except tucked away in the corner, unfortunately. And then what percentage of the new arrivals never makes it to the shelves? I guess meaning we have a new arrival section here. Stuff goes into that, and when it hangs out long enough, then it goes further into the actual sections of the store. Yeah, a lot of that stuff sells through very fast from the new arrival section. So I would say maybe 75% of it sells out of the new arrival section, and 20% of it eventually makes it into the main part of the store. Next question is from Chris Schatz. What was your first dive into Japanese music? For the people that don't know, this store is known for carrying lots of different music from different parts of the world, including Japan. I would like to say something super cool, that my first foray into Japanese music was awesome hardcore like Gauze or something cool like that. But the truth is, when I was a kid in 1986, I was a metalhead, and the very first Japanese band I ever heard or saw was Loudness. I saw them open for Stryper at Merriweather Post Pavilion sometime in 1986, and they were awesome. They blew Stryper off the stage, which is not difficult to do, and they were just super killer. So the first Japanese band that I was ever really exposed to was Loudness, 80s heavy metal band. After that, probably sometime around 1990, I was reading a review of Shonen Knife in Maximum Rock and Roll, and it compared them to the Ramones, and I thought that sounded amazing. So the next Japanese band that I really got into was Shonen Knife. I got to see them a couple of times, and they were awesome. Next question is from Nick Tape, and that question is, what's the craziest thing you've ever found inside of a record? This question is a little bit not safe for work. Anybody that buys used records for a living will tell you that there's all kinds of strange things that you might find inside of records. A lot of times that happens to be personal notes, artwork. Sometimes you might find a little drug paraphernalia. Even one time I found a $20 bill inside of a copy of Boston Don't Look Back. But the craziest thing that I've ever found inside of a record was a used condom. This was in a copy of The Worst of Jefferson Airplane, and mercifully for me, when I get a used record, before I do anything, I kind of look inside. I don't just reach my hand into a record and try to pull something out. So I took a look, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Is that like shrink wrap? Is that yellow shrink wrap that's inside there? And then I kind of like did one of these numbers, and it was not yellow shrink wrap. It was a used condom from probably the time period that The Worst of Jefferson Airplane was released. And that is definitely the craziest thing that I've ever found inside of a record. All right, next question is from Jess Morgan, and it is, why have you never done, in the length of time of your store, YouTube videos like this? It's a good question. The reason is I am insanely uncomfortable on camera, and as soon as a camera is pointed at me, I become stiff, weird, and unable to speak. So that's why we've never done it before.